Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We would like to present our paper, Ukrainian Social Sector Development in Contemporary Conditions, Problems and Areas for Their Solutions, in which we thoroughly analyze problems of Ukraine's social sector, which have been significantly aggravated by Russia's armed aggression. The structure of our presentation consists of purpose and tasks of the study, quality of life as an indicator of social sector development, key indicators of living standards in Ukraine, current problems of social sector development in Ukraine, impact on war on social sector, priority areas for solving social sector problems, and conclusions. This analysis is aimed at highlighting current problems in the social sector development and substantiating directions for their solutions. Achieving this goal entails analyzing population's quality of life and arguing for the feasibility of using it as an indicator of social sector development, as well as identifying current problems in the development of Ukraine's social sector and determining priority areas for their solution. Unlike most studies that focus on quantitative assessment of social sector needs by analyzing the number of people affected by war, our study emphasizes the depth and scope of the gap between existing quality of life characteristics and social norms, as well as the lack of resources. We explore how institutional changes, policy, and procedure updates affect the problems of social sector development, since they determine the efficiency of the use of available resources, and this is accomplished by taking into account the importance of institutional changes, updating policies and procedures used in their implementations to achieve better social outcomes. When considering main problems of social sector, the following concern can be highlighted. Social sector growing needs, and the war has resulted in significant additional defense budget expenditures, which limits funding for social programs. This is reflected in the diagram, which shows a decrease in average wages of full-time employees and pensions during the research period. Thus, it can be concluded that the rates of reduction differ. The average pension is declining much faster than the average wages of full-time employees. The ratio of basic social standards and guarantees is even more revealing. This slide shows dynamics of individual social standards and guarantees ratio for the period of 2021-2023. Thus, in 2023, there was a dramatic decline in the ratio of the minimum pension to actual subsistence level for disabled persons and other individual social standards and guarantees. And the officially approved subsistence level amounted to only 41.9% of the actual subsistence level, which indicates a significant underestimations of all social benefits and wages for public institution employees. Moreover, such an approach practically leads to equalization of wages. At the same time, in nominal terms, there has been a slight increase in income, as shown in the table, which is lower than the headline inflation rate. Although nominal growth during 2021-2023, these increases did not keep pace with inflation. Thus, it should be taken into account that this negatively affects the real purchasing power of the population. The decline in real income indicators demonstrates the threatening state of decline in living standards in Ukraine, which has negative consequences for social sector development. In order to understand the current problems in the social sector, it is necessary to note the preconditions of social sector development that were formed before the full-scale invasion. Among them, low level of GDP per capita, high level of shadow employment and so-called envelope wages, which pose challenges to labor market stability and social justice, low life expectancy compared to developed countries, and the polarization of the population by quality of life. Depopulation and low funding of the main components of social sector requires the attention of authorities to ensure the development of human capital and improve the population's quality of life. And the dispersion and irrational allocation of financial resources also poses a problem. Social sector functioning has been significantly hampered due to hostilities. Many social infrastructure facilities have been completely destroyed, and some have been damaged. According to the World Bank, the sectors that have suffered the most are housing, transportation, energy, trade, and industry. The damage is concentrated in frontline regions. Real wages decreased by 11.4% in 2022. Obviously, the war has significantly deepened pre-existing social problems. In 2022, there was an increase in the poverty rate from 5.5% to 24.1%. According to the World Bank, the poverty rate in Ukraine increased tenfold during the war. All of this has led to a decrease in the population's purchasing power, which has directly affected the level of access to educational and medical services. In the context of emergence of new challenges during the war, it is worth noting a sharp increase in the need for social support for people with limited financial resources. Against the backdrop of high inflation, increase in funding for social protection expenditures is leveled and actually means a decrease in real funding. Thus, deepening of social sector development problems necessitates revision of areas for their solution. The main task under current conditions should be overcoming the above-mentioned problems and improving the quality of life of all social groups. The state social policy should be developed in this area, which should become a new policy of social modernization. Thus, one of the key areas of the above-mentioned changes should be creation of conditions for increasing the birth rate and reducing the premature mortality. Developed measures should promote a healthy lifestyle, including healthy nutrition and learning self-preservation behavior. In the short term, it will contribute to reducing the population rate, and in the long term, to obtaining a positive natural population growth rate, which will contribute to increase in labor force and reduce its shortage in labor market in the post-war period. Another key area of change should be creation of conditions that will stimulate economic activity and productivity of all working age people. Wages, including the minimum wage, play an extremely important role in these processes as they determine the extent of poverty, the boundaries of which are defined by the subsistence level. Eradication of poverty should be based on new values and principles of social policy, based not only on state support but also on creating conditions for raising wages. To summarize, we would like to turn to conclusions. Taking into account problems identified in the study, we propose the following priority areas for the solution. Creation of conditions for increasing birth rate and reducing premature mortality rate. Effective migration policies that will facilitate return of Ukrainians from abroad. Reforming the wage system, simplifying access to professional pre-university and higher education during martial law and within 5 years after it is lifted, adapting the network of medical institutions to population's growing needs, optimal placement of labor in Ukraine, and creation of conditions for the continuation of active life of senior citizens. Implementations of measures within the mentioned areas will contribute to social sector development and improve the population's quality of life. Ukraine should build a future in which cities and villages that have fallen victim to Russian aggression revive and flourish, forming a social and economic ecosystem where people live in decent conditions and have access to modern technologies that promote sustainable social development and ensure well-being. Thank you for attention.